Phoebe, welcome back to my channel. Today is Vlogmas Day 10, and for Vlogmas Day 10 I am watching my 2021 writing and channel goals video to see which goals I've met, which goals I haven't met, and to see if any of the goals are possible to complete with the remainder of the month that's left so far. Today I am talking about my 2021 writing goals and my goals for this channel, and the first one on my list is a goal that I've made for myself the last few years now, which is no starting new fan fiction. I've stuck to that for the last couple of years and I plan to keep sticking to that, and I have stuck to that goal for this year, and that's going to be a rollover goal for next year as well. It's still hard not to start new fan fiction, even though it's been years since I last started anything new. I still have all these stories up there in my head that I'd love to be able to start, but because I've got that no starting new fan fiction rule in place and I want to stick to it, I thought it'd get easier the more time passed with not starting new stuff, and it hasn't gotten any easier at all. And along with my plan of no starting new fan fiction, I plan to continue writing the fan fiction I've already started and to get as many of them as possible to completion. It would be nice if I had like all of them completed, but there's over 40 just Red Dwarf fan fiction alone that's incomplete. And then I've got a few other in other fandoms, so I'm not sure how many stories there are at the moment. I didn't know when I filmed that video how many there were, but there is 89 stories total, 89 stories total, and 6 of them are original fiction that I have started that were incomplete at the start of the year. Love to get at least 2 of my large multi-chapters completed and 5 of my short stories. More would be ideal, but I found that if I go... So I have only finished 1 large multi-chapter story, and I have finished, I think, 1 short story. So, and 4 multi-chapter fanfiction stories to complete that goal. I make myself unrealistic goals, then I get disappointed that I don't meet any of them at all. So that is my fanfiction goals. I also plan to not start new original stories this year. And I haven't started any new original stories for this year at all. And that one hasn't been as difficult. I have heaps of original stories up in my head as well, like I have with fanfiction, but with the original stories, I have been focusing on 1 story at a time. I will write notes for the other stories that I've started, but my focus story is my Choose Your Own Adventure pirate story, and I've pretty much worked on that exclusively with the occasional note for my other stories. Just when I get an idea, I'll add a note in, just so when I do eventually get to those stories, I can go read over all those notes and see what idea I actually want to follow when I do start writing those stories as my focus. I do allow myself to start a new one in November, because that's the month I've always allowed myself to start new stories in the past. In past writing bans, before I started writing original fiction again, I allowed myself to start a new fan fiction in November, and that has worked for previous years. So this year I am applying that to my original fiction. I think because I didn't start a new story during NaNoWriMo this year like I normally do, that I didn't have that boost of words from starting a new story, because starting a new story is exciting and I can get out heaps of pages and heaps of words and just vomit words all over the page. And because I didn't do that this year, I didn't have that excitement of I must get this new story onto the page as fast as possible. It was continuing on existing stories, and with continuing existing stories, there is still excitement about getting progress done, but it's more about I have to take it slower because I need to tie things together and make it neater than just getting the idea out there in the first place. So no new stories, unless I complete the 6 that I've got started already, or in November for NaNoWriMo, I'm allowed to start a new one if I want to. I may not do that yet. So I didn't start a new one in Nano. I'd actually decided way earlier on in the year that I wasn't going to start anything new at all. At this stage, I don't have any new story ideas in the back of my mind, but that's when I will allow myself to start one if I do. The next one on my list is completing at least 2 houses of the Harry Potter word crawl. I didn't complete even the first year of the Harry Potter word crawl. That is actually going to roll over to this year. I did do a couple of what I did last year. I'm considering more of practice for this year. I never got as far with them as I wanted, so this year I hope to get them completed. I plan to do all 4 houses of the Harry Potter word crawl, but I don't think it'll be all this year. But getting at least 2 years worth would be nice. Not 2 years worth, at least 2 houses worth. Yeah, I didn't even do 1 year worth. So I think I was more accurate when I said 2 years worth than 2 houses worth. So my plan for, because of the fact this is rolling over, I've been putting together, so I made myself a Harry Potter house outfit for the streams because I plan to stream the word crawls, and I've been creating timers for each of the word crawl steps. So I'm trying to make it look a lot more interesting than it did last year when I tried to do the word crawls. So that's 7 years each for each house that I'm hoping to do for the word crawl. I've never finished the Harry Potter word crawl all the way through. I have done up to year 3 twice, and I've stopped during year 3 both times. I've done year 3 once as Hufflepuff, and I've done year 3 once as Gryffindor. And I've done year 1 about 3 or 4 times as Hufflepuff and once or twice as Gryffindor. So I've started as Slytherin, which is my favourite house, but it's not the house I've ever done before on Harry Potter word crawls. So I wanted to start with a house I hadn't done yet, and I hadn't done Slytherin or Ravenclaw, so starting with my favourite Harry Potter house. And I can't remember, I've already assigned the order that I'm going to do the Harry Potter crawls and houses in, and I have forgotten what that order was other than starting with Slytherin and ending with Hufflepuff, so I don't know whether Gryffindor was second or Ravenclaw. I can't remember if I had Ravenclaw next or Gryffindor next. I had already forgotten in that video. Good job, me. No, Hufflepuff is the very last house. I think it was Ravenclaw. So yes, that's... Oh, and my last writing goal, almost forgot, is to attempt 1 million words, and I stopped recording my words really early on, and even if I was recording, I got nowhere near 1 million. Even if I don't make 1 million words, my goal is to beat my last best attempt at 1 million words. And I definitely didn't get anywhere near my closest attempt to 1 million, even though I don't know how much I got because I wasn't recording. I still know how much I wrote approximately this year, even without recording words, compared to the year that I got close-ish. Yeah, definitely not near that goal. Words in a year, and that was around 700,000. Over 700,000, I can't remember over. Because my guess is that I'm between 200 and 400,000, and I am not going to be writing a few 100,000 words in the remaining 20 days of this month. So that goal is not achievable for the remainder of this year. By how much? So, or what year it was. I think it was 2018, but I'm not 100% sure that was my best attempt. And it's something that I've attempted most years. Last year, I didn't make an attempt because I was working on more original stories, and I was doing a lot of handwriting last year, so... And I ended up doing a lot of handwriting this year as well, which is another reason why I stopped counting words. It's a bit harder to count how many words I'm doing when I'm handwriting, and I will still be handwriting this year, and I won't be counting my handwritten stuff towards my 1 million words. So yeah, I'm trying to do 1 million words without counting all my writing, so just my typed up words. And then on to the channel goals. My channel goal is to post 1 audio narration of my fan. And I've actually hidden all of my audio narrations at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I started my audio narrations as practice for if I eventually release a release book, I'd like to do an audio edition of it myself. So that's practice for that. in the distant future, and I haven't done one for a while. I did one a couple of months ago, which I've never shared. They're way more time consuming to record everything out than what I was anticipating, because I'd done a few short ones as practice before I filmed this, and I got through the short stories at a decent time, but it's like editing everything took forever. It's like recording, it was just way more time consuming to keep that up at once a week. Yeah, they're all hidden on my channel at the moment, so you can't even go back and watch them.
Fan fiction a week. I tried to do that last year and I only did about 4 before I stopped, so I'm continuing from where I left off last year with my Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. I hope to get through all of my Dragon Ball Z fan fiction, and then after that I plan to move on to the other fandoms that I've written work for. I have a few fan fiction of Dragon Ball Z that's unfinished, so
one of the reasons that I removed the Dragon Ball Z stuff, I removed it about a month or 2 ago, but Toei Animation, who owns Dragon Ball Z, they're really, it's like they don't care what form that you use things for. They copyright strike everything, and there's quite a large channel recently that I follow that's had heaps of videos taken down, so I've known about that issue for a long time. I was like, I just don't want to risk my channel with them, so I'm still going to record them. I just don't know whether I'm going to share them. I will probably share my other fandoms that aren't owned by any of the companies that go and copyright strike absolutely everything. So you might see some Red Dwarf and Stargate and Monkey Island stuff in the future. And if I do post, it'll be on another channel and not this channel.
If they're unfinished by the time I get to the end of this, they may just be put aside until they are actually completed, and then I'll move on to other fandoms. So I want to get better at narrating and talking to the microphone. So the plan is that this is all practice for if I ever decide to do audiobooks of my original work when I get up to them, that I've had practice beforehand. So that's the plan at this stage. Just double checking. I didn't have any other goals, but I would like to be more consistent on this. Oh, yes, I do. I forgot to. I plan to stream twice a week.
And that has not happened yet. I have changed my internet since then, so it should actually be easier to stream, just that at the moment I'm in storm season, and with storms and stuff, my power goes out when there's storms and the internet's flaky, and so if I have a set day for streaming, then it ends up with, usually that's the day it likes to storm. So I haven't streamed yet, but that is something I would like to be more consistent with, and I actually plan to stream as much as possible during January as practice, and then after I've had that practice month, then try and get myself into an actual streaming schedule of once, maybe twice a week, depending on how January goes with streaming.
I'm streaming over at Twitch at the moment,
and I probably won't be streaming over on Twitch. If I stream, it'll be over on YouTube, so I haven't touched my Twitch channel in a very, very long time, even longer than I last used my other channel where I review things.
And I'm wanting that on Mondays and Wednesdays, which I think I already mentioned when I was talking about the Harry Potter word crawl, but that's...
And those are the 2 days that I'm still considering for if I do stream, because those are the days that do seem to work out best for me when it comes to how busy I am during the week.
A goal, and then I plan to, at the end of the...
I don't remember clapping there. One of my cats must have come in.
Week, I plan to compile my streams together and re-upload them over here on YouTube. But we'll see how that goes. I may end up editing them, I may not. I haven't decided yet. Yep, so that's everything I have recorded for wanting to do this year.
So going by my goals, I need to go finish 4 more short stories and 1 multi-chapter before the end of the month. So I have a couple of multi-chapters that are close to finishing. I might actually get that 2 large multi-chapters goal done and see if I can go finish see if I can go finish my for short stories to go get the short story goal finished as well. The 1,000,000 words is not possible, and I was nowhere near as consistent with my channel as I plan to be, and there's nothing I can do about the past few months, but hopefully going forward next year I do a lot better with everything than what I've done this year. Thank you for joining me as I went over my goals.